Yes, we're here again in proud Preston. It's the BDO World Trophy. There, the famous Preston Guildhall, where tonight we are going to complete the second round of the men's tournament and the quarterfinals of the women's tournament. And a real good lineup again. We've had a good lineup for you every single time we've gone on air. And tonight is no different. I'm looking forward to some fantastic games there, particularly the great Tony O'Shea at the end against a wonderful world champion of the moment, Glenn Durant. Anastasia Dobromyslova against Lisa Ashton, worthy of a final. They're meeting in the last 8. Unbelievable. Some great games there. Scott Baker, what a player he has proved to be in this tournament. And of course, William Borland, the 21-year-old who really impressed in his first round victory. So, I reckon that game, Borland against Jim Williams, a seasoned Welsh international, is going to be an absolute cracker. So, let's get that first game underway. William Borland, Jim Williams. Let's go now to our MC once again, the evergreen, the ever-present, Richard Ashton.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the British Darts Organisation, welcome to Preston Guildhall, here for the 2018 BDO World Trophy. We continue with the men's second round and introduce to the stage a BDO World Trophy qualifier, a Development Tour semi-finalist, Scotland's William Borland. We now bring to the stage a current Welsh international and the current holder of 5 BDO World Ranking titles, the former World Cup singles champion, the Quiff, Jim Williams.
So taking aim by way of the first few of his 6 practice darts, Jim Williams, and the 33-year-old from Presteigne Powys, right on the border of England actually. You could go down the end of the street and you're in Herefordshire. And the young man, 12 years his junior, from East Calder, West Lothian, actually in Livingston. And he's been celebrating his favourite football team's promotion to the Scottish Premiership via the playoffs. He's been telling me all about that, keen football lad. And really impressive.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, it's Jim to throw first. Game on.
It was one of the talking points of a wonderful first round.
Yeah, it really was. Good evening, John. Good evening, everyone. A pleasure to be here for what is one of the standout ties of the second round for the BDO World Trophy here in Preston. And I say standout purely just by levels of intrigue. William Borland stunned us all, certainly stunned Conan Whitehead with a magnificent performance in round one, knocking him off by
140.
Absolutely buzzing to be in this second round. Fully deserves to be here.
80.
Of course. And he's telling me earlier he's got a lot of family in tonight. First time his gran has ever seen him play. Some lovely moments, of course, when you get these youngsters on the big stage for
137.
Yes, in that opening game against Conan Whitehead, the number 13.
94.
It was one apiece, and then suddenly he went away, ran away from him, hit his first 180, then a couple of legs later hit his second 180, the next leg he hit a 168 and finished off
55.
double eight immediately, so effectively 184 in 4 darts, and it was, and it's the easy on the eye manner in which he throws, absolutely totally uninhibited.
very, very natural action. Williams, though, is looking to be first to a double. Does have the throw.
55. William requires 143.
House down early on, 143. Not going to be anywhere near it with that one.
57. Jimmy requires 68.
Oh, went treble 12, double 16. It'll be 16 then for tops for 1-0.
28.
Wow.
William requires
Opening.
86.
86 required. Oh, look to go. I think treble 14. Ball would have left double 16.
28. Jimmy required 40.
Bit of a hash of that. Going Borland. Can't imagine Williams will need more than the requisite darts here. Two very good markers.
Game shot on the first leg. Jim Williams, second leg. It's Williams.
Yes, on his throw. And,
174.
the young fella. 174. Brilliant.
$93.
140 to follow 174. 187 throw in. Next. Williams really got to get a score here. He's going to compete in this particular leg.
59.
Borland did a number of times in his previous game. And really, this is amazing.
137.
Fantastic, isn't it?
9 darts, 50 left. He could go out in 10, but of course, I don't think he will go for the bull.
60. William, you require
Very
50.
nice if he were to and get it. But he's gone 18, double 16.
18.
He'll be back.
Yeah, the reward you get for hitting such big scores, 174, 140, 137, is a little bit of
59.
leeway when it comes to the business end of the leg. Wow, and he may need yet a bit more leeway. What could have been an 11 dart leg might be now a 16 dart leg. Be a great pity if he were to lose it, and we have known them lost even in this competition during the course of this week. One or two legs that have got away that ought not to have done. But this time, as cool as anything, in it goes. He's happy to just win the leg. Never mind how many darts. 16 it was in the end, which in itself is not bad. But it could have been so much better.
41.
Interesting to have known what would have happened if Jim was right behind him and breathing down his neck. Might have just changed the outcome
30.
of that leg. Either way. But the Welshman not really getting close on that occasion.
And there's a chance here for the young Scotsman to open up a gap. And open up a gap in some way with a brilliant maximum. He got a 174 in the last leg. Maximum here.
100.
Really finding the red bit.
93.
And not always the one that I'm talking about.
Oh, this is better from Jim Williams.
140.
140. And on 160, Bourne gets another one of these. He's
100. Jimmy
another treble
require
there would have left him
160.
very, very handy in this leg. He's already pretty good, but will Jim Williams have a bit of a champagne finish? Not now.
100.
Leaves himself
William,
a
you require
very
98.
kind two darter. Might not get a shot at it. Went for double 19. No hesitation.
79.
Way high.
Jim, you require 60.
So 20 for double 20 then. Now come down for double 10.
Game
And
shot on the
that's
third leg. Jim
as
Williams.
secure a double
It's
10
Williams
as you'll
to
ever
throw
see.
first. 96.
Well, if we were to be hypercritical of the young man in blue, he has had a little bit of double
55.
trouble in the early going. And hasn't affected him too adversely just yet. Still scoring well, still on throw
140.
these legs. But it will be something he'll be conscious, will have to improve towards the end, one would imagine.
59.
Yes, what impresses me as well, he stands absolutely perfectly still. Look, the body movement is absolutely nil. It's just the movement of the arm
95.
and what little effect that has on the upper arm, the shoulder. Other than that, he's absolutely perfectly still and upright.
100.
Slightly
William, you
leaning
require
forward. Not that there's
170.
anything wrong with that with Williams, and a very slight one with Borland.
134.
Straight darts. He's a natural player, all right. 36 left after 12.
It's remarkable, isn't it? It really is.
96. William, you require
18 for a
36.
13 darter.
Game
Oh.
shot on the fourth
Well, he
leg.
mentioned double
William
trouble.
Borland.
None such
Fifth
there.
leg, it's Jim to throw
The
first.
ball and
Game
rattles
on.
in a superb 13 dart leg. And if he wasn't aware already, heading out to the stage tonight, Jim
60.
Williams, he will now know he is very much in a game. Take a look at those averages, John.
Yes, there's a big difference, isn't there? 16 points difference between
57.
the Welshman and the Scotsman. And it sounds like the beginning of a joke, doesn't it? But it isn't. And what a fabulous visit that was. Williams making sure that he makes sure that Borland knows he's around.
He's in again. He's in again.
140.
Just the 1040, just I say. He'll have a go at 1-2-1.
59.
William Borland
Jimmy
not too
require
close in this leg.
121.
So 6 darts at 1-2-1 for Jim Williams. Double 17 will leave the ball. He just takes a look. He's not going to go for it. Just tees
89.
himself up on double 16. Wise decision with Borland back on 251, although he's going to make him hit it.
140. Jimmy require 32.
13 darter. We've just seen one from Borland. And we're now going to see a 14 darter from Williams, or perhaps a 15 darter.
Game
Yes.
shot on the fifth
And
leg. Jim
I
Williams.
just had a feeling that Borland would give that 111, give him the chance, a real goal. So Williams leads at the break, 3-2. Every leg has gone with throw, as it turns out. And we'll be back soon for some for some more super darts once we've looked at the stats, I think, of this particular game. And the big difference there, Steve, as we pointed out earlier, is although it's closed a little since, is the 11 points difference in the average, the overall average. And yet, Boland is not ahead in the match.
Yeah, incredible, really. He's been absolutely brilliant so far, but it's testament to Jim Williams. He's thrown good shots when he's needed to on his throw, and he does hold the keys to this second round match as it stands. We are so excited for the next bit of this one. It's coming up after the break.
Yes, welcome back. Here we are in the Guildhall in Preston, and a very interesting game. 3-2 to Jim Williams, the number 4 seed from Wales, and a man who has managed to win the legs on his throw. His average is 11 short of that of the man behind him, and that's staggering. And that tells me that when Jim Williams has lost a leg, Boland has won it with loads in hand. When he's won a leg, Williams, Boland has been there or thereabouts, and that's how the seeming discrepancy can come about.
Yeah, I think that's been the story of the match, hasn't it? That's much better there from Williams, and on Boland's throat, 2 trebles fired in on his first visit. He's a pretty formidable opposition for William Boland, ranked number 4 in the BDO rankings.
41.
Only ever, though, got to the last 16 of the World Trophy. Never been beyond this exact stage.
140.
It's his first crack at this sort of stage. His first crack at this tournament. It's going pretty well for him so far.
He's going to be a wonderful.
137.
He's already a very, very enjoyable player to watch.
57.
He has a beautiful smooth. Now he does have a lovely smooth, uninhibited action, and so pleasing on the eye. And of course, he hits the scores, he hits the target.
William, you require 108.
They weren't finished at this one.
60.
And
Jim, you require
Williams here with
49.
a good chance to break the throw. Double 16 to do just that.
Boland can't watch. He
33.
he knows he's got a chance himself
48.
now. 48 for 3-all, and Williams could have opened up a gap. That's a good dart, because it actually is not a bad marker for the double 16, but he's made life a little bit
16.
awkward for himself, and really should have done better with the second dart, to be honest, after that first one. Now Williams wanting 16, and you don't get a second chance, young Boland. You probably know that without me having to tell you, but the fact is, first break of throw in the match, and it really opens up some daylight for the Welshman. But the dart in 16 was in a beautiful position for him to nestle alongside her, just underneath, into the double, and I expected him to. I'll be interested to see now the pressure's on, how fluent and how good he really is. This is a test for him, Steve.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think this entire match is a big test for him.
96.
He's risen to it so far, played well. If he can rise to this particular challenge, we're going 2 legs behind. And I think we'll find out a lot more about him than we know already. He's up with Jim Williams in this leg, but Jim Williams is going to take a big lead there. Terrific maximum.
Second of the match, his third of the tournament. He had a 177 in his previous game as well. I always like to mention that.
Yeah, he's going to come down. That dart was really precarious. 69 left. All Boland can do to just scrutinise Williams' efforts here.
69.
Now, double 6 across, quarter past the hour. Now it just moves across. He'll aim towards that inside of that dart. Well, of course he didn't. He kept well away from it, but he knew exactly the angle that he had to approach it with. Good example of angular dart throwing, if I can put it that way.
Williams is at it again, and you mentioned he had a 177. in the last game. He's done it again. His cover shooting is very nice indeed.
40.
When it's at his best, and there you just might see the first little signs of frustration, which is only natural, of course, for a young player in desperate need of a big score just to get him back on track.
That he's lost this, and it has been an excellent performance by Williams,
96.
who's come off the break, having been 3-2 up with the best darts he's played during the 1.5 games he's played, or nearly 2 games he's played
100.
this week. He's rarely gone lower than a 3-figure score of some sort.
And that's, of course, what the best player's going to do.
Yeah.
Jim, you require 124.
Pile on the pressure. So that leaves him 32, sorry mate, 32, and could be game over soon. And all I want to say is this young fella, William Borland,
80.
we may not see you again on this particular stage, but we'll see you on stages big and small in the future, and that is a comfortable victory in the end for Jim Williams, one of which he can be extremely pleased. His average at the break was only 82, but I reckon when we come to look at those stats, it will have gone up considerably.
Yeah, and there you see it. He got right back up there, and as he put on the pressure with a bit of big scoring and a couple of great legs taken out, just meant that Williams slipped away a touch as well. The 9-dart averages are still pretty, in fact they're both still very, very similar. Not too much between them at all. And perhaps the match might have been different when Jim was really struggling at the start, and if William could maybe have broken him early on. But I think that's a performance, not just in this match, but in the tournament as a whole, that the young man and his family members in the crowd can be very, very proud of.
Yep, that's right. I enjoyed his first round game very, very much. I thought he was going to give as good as he got in that second round. He did up until the break, but after the break it was one-way traffic. So Jim Williams, William Borland, it's not William who goes through, but Williams.
It is indeed, and we'll hear from him after the break.
Welcome back. Here we are. It's a fantastic night of darts. We've just seen, of course, that first game completed. An excellent performance by Jim Williams, the number 4 seed, and he's beaten William Borland by 6 legs to 2, really turning it on after the break. Some great games coming up there. Zylstra against Winstanley. That's next up. Andy Baetens against Scott Baker. Scott Baker was most impressive in the first round. Looking forward to seeing him. Labanauskas from Lithuania against Richie Edwards from Wales. And then Dobromyslova against Ashton. And finally tonight, Tony O'Shea against Glenn Durant. Don't miss that one. We're going to go for another break, folks. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, folks, and now we can go to the interview with Steve, and he's got Jim there, of course, after an excellent performance by the Welshman.
A bit of a one for you, taking on the young challenger, as it were. Just pleased to get that one over the line.
Yeah, I've been where he has, and you've got no expectations in something, so you just go and play your high. So I'm thrilled to get through that one.
And in terms of the match itself, it seemed to struggle a little bit at the start, but after the break, totally different player, and you look more like the number 4 ranked player in the world that we know you are. What was the difference after the break compared to before it?
I just had like 5 minutes of my own, and I was just trying not to think about anything and just carry on as it was. But I say the first 5 legs, I was so lucky to be in front. He's a great guy and he played really well. So to be 3-2 in front, you just think just get 3 more legs and then you're in.
I know you've been in a similar position to young William. What would be your advice to him as a young kid, still trying to make his way through?
He's doing everything perfectly. And he played so well. He was unlucky to be 3-2 down, to be fair, because say that on my throw I was good, on his throw he tore me to pieces. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. Best luck in the next round, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that's a very, very honest interview there from Jim Williams. He more or less said, as I stated in the commentary, that it was Borland who was running away with it on his legs, and the legs that Williams threw first were rather much tighter. However, that's history now. Jim Williams is in the next round, and now we come to the ladies' tournament, the quarterfinals, of course, and it's the number 1 seed Lorraine Winstanley against, from the Netherlands, Anke Zylstra. Let's go now to our MC, Richard Ashton.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our next ladies' quarter-final here at Preston Guildhall at the 2018 BDO World Trophy. Let's welcome to the stage a Dutch international, a BDO World Trophy semi-finalist, the reigning International Open champion, the Phoenix, Anke Zylstra! bring to the stage the reigning England Classic and England Open champion, our #1 seed, the reigning Winmore World Masters champion, England's Lorraine Winstanley!
Here we go then, Lorraine Winstanley versus Anke Zylstra in the quarterfinals of the women's draw. Anke Zylstra, who knocked out Trina Gulliver in round 1, 4-3. It's a bit of a scrappy game for the pair of them, really. Trina Gulliver missed match darts in the decider, but Anke got her way through to the next round, and she's duly rewarded with a match against the #1 seed here, Lorraine Winstanley. She beat Paula Jacqueline 4-1 in her first round match, and she played very well in that as well. One iffy-ish leg where she went all the way down the doubles, but other than that, very, very good indeed, and that's the sort of standard we've been accustomed to seeing from the reigning Masters champion, Lorraine Winstanley. Best at this competition in the World Trophy is the quarter-final stage. She'll be hoping to go better than that.
Thank you,
tonight.
ladies and gentlemen.
A win here
First
would
leg,
take
it's
her
Lorraine
through,
to
of course,
throw first.
to the
Game on.
semi-finals. Anke Zylstra has been there before. She was there in the semi-finals last year. She's looking to create a repeat for herself. Plenty of support in the audience from her Dutch teammates, or Arlene de Graaf and Sharon Prins, who have both exited this competition, getting behind the last Dutch lady standing.
60.
Yes, they do. I've got to say, the Dutch, they do support each other well, and you can hardly just get on the bus and go home, or get on your bike and go home. So, and there is a nice friendly sort of team feeling about them. Of course, they want to beat each other. They all want to win the tournament. And oh, there we have the old Robin Hood, or Rabina Hood, 61. I suppose, in the case of the women. And unlucky.
You call that one the Maid Marian, maybe? Yeah, it was interesting. The interview with Jim Williams. These two were both hanging around in the green room before their game, giving him an awfully hard time, as his custom. He does it the other way. And I think a good relationship between these two, and a good relationship already started with the treble 20 for Anke Zylstra. Brilliant darts. Gets herself down to 200, game's first maximum.
81.
And Anke, who struggled at times against Trina, both of them did in that first round match, to hit the big scores. Oh, she's not struggling now.
No, that was a lovely 180, good grouping, the first of the week. She never really reached those heights, as you said, against Trina, and both of them were struggling
68.
a little. They were well below their potential,
142.
or their ability, but it was Anke who managed to just squeeze through, and here she is now 44. Taking on
Lorraine require 132.
She hit a 180 and a 105. She rounded her win off with a 105 finish. Wants another one of those. She went for the 2 bullseyes, and now she's got 57 left. So that'll leave 92. Top. She'd have been happy with 92 to start 98. With. And Zylstra now, this 98. She's got to get treble 18 here. Unlucky. Good try. Back up to top. Back up to the top 58. Of the board. Lorraine, so 40 apiece, 40. But it's Winstanley to have the first go at it. Double 10. Oh yes, no problem. And levelling things, or rather taking that first leg, despite the fact that Zylstra hit that 180.
Yeah, good darts from Lorraine.
100.
Would have been particularly pleased if she'd hit the second bullseye on the way to a 1-3-2 checkout. My favourite checkout of all, but pretty good
60.
in getting all the way down to 40, especially as you say, given that Anka had hit a fantastic 180.
Not going to get a 180 here.
66.
Oh, good last dart though to give it respectability. She's a beautician in Buxton, the town where she and her husband Dean live. Dean himself, a well-known dart player, of course, a finalist in the World Championship at Frimley Green to 2010. Lost to Martin Adams.
60.
Crossed over to the other side of the PDC and played in the 2011 World Championships there at the Alexandra Palace and hit a 9-darter. But
140.
he's here supporting his wife Lorraine, and as I say, she's a beautician. I said, you'll never be able to succeed with Dean. She said, no, she said, I remind him I'm a beautician, not a magician. Which is nice. A lovely couple. Come down for the 19.
99.
Yeah, nice work to leave herself 62. Anka, of course, can't finish on 175, but she can add a little bit of pressure to this shot. Needed the treble and got it.
Lorraine requires 62.
Anka staying in touch, but Lorraine essentially has the darts here. 12 will leave tops. Had one go at this already. Didn't get it, but only needs the one this time around. Great darts from Lorraine Winstanley. She breaks the throw instantly and moves into a 2-0 lead.
Game on.
Yes, that was a very tidy leg. Tidy being the operative, because she did little wrong. Didn't hit too many big trebles, but she hit what
100.
she was going for. And particularly that lovely sweet double top. Always nice to end a short sentence with a full stop as well as a long one.
41.
And sometimes you don't end long sentences at all in this game. Somebody else will do it for you.
100.
Yeah, second straight one. Anka only 41 at her first visit.
83.
Quite square it up.
The Phoenix, I said, where does that come from? She said, well, I like the notion of people rising from difficult circumstances as the Phoenix rose from the ashes. And she said, actually, the Persian word
59.
for Phoenix is anchor. And her name, of course, is the Phoenix, therefore.
43.
I did ask if she'd ever been to Arizona, to the capital city of that state. Of course, it's called Phoenix.
It is indeed. Now, Lorraine on her throw here might just force Anka
45.
into summoning
Lorraine, you require
up
102.
a Phoenix-style comeback because she's 3 darts away here from going 3-0 up. Looked, I think, for ball double 16, but
50.
just satisfy herself with a 50. She knows she's going to be back.
$99. Lorraine, you require
99
52.
still leaves her on 190. So 52, that's 43 left. She may go 3 double top or she may go 11 double 16. Well, that's now 26 left.
Game shot on the
she
third
didn't
leg.
intend it,
Lorraine
but
Winstanley.
what an excellent adjustment.
Fourth leg, it's Anka
Yeah,
throwing
you've got to give her a
first.
lot of credit there. After missing 2 fat singles, Lorraine Winstanley readjusts and hits a double she had absolutely
100.
zero intention of even looking at. Remarkable, isn't it?
Listen, you can make beauty out of any shot if you're a beautician. She made that look beautiful.
100.
Yeah, she did indeed, and she's really rolling in this one. Another ton to start the leg, same as she did in leg number 3. And Anka is now going to need a Phoenix-style comeback here.
Well, we saw 3-0 this afternoon, didn't we? Dead and buried.
60.
Maria O'Brien 3-0 up against Fallon Sherrock. And Fallon took out 4 consecutive legs.
45.
And with some really good quality darts. Not sure that Anka quite has the game that Fallon demonstrated then. I've seen her play exceedingly well on occasions.
58.
Well, there you see the averages.
105.
Stanley very consistent, pretty good that, 84 overall. Not bad at all, actually.
Yeah, the reigning world master in the women's
98.
game. And deserving of it. Knocking on the door. Big tournaments for some time. Actually getting there.
78.
Trouble.
Anki require
helps,
140.
She had a go at 132 last time, or the time before, wasn't it? When she hit the 50 and then the 25 and
45. Lorraine, you require
Go the bull
132.
route. You have to when the other person's on 95. Yeah, she's done it again. Well, she went for the bull again. Might have gone for treble 14 double top, but why not? Why not? If you can hit it once, you can hit it again.
And the way that her darts go in as well, that was open.
Anki, you require 95.
Hit the line, bob on. So 20 would leave the ball for Anka.
That's a sad dart, isn't it? It's a pity because she'd have had a shot at the bull herself.
104.
Double 10 now for the match, and the bell from Buxton in Derbyshire. Lovely spa town, Buxton. Play cricket there.
Lorraine, you require 20.
From where I live in East Manchester. Lovely part of the world in the Peak District.
No score.
Wrong house. And
Anki, you require 12.
to save her bacon.
No score.
Speaking of wrong houses,
Lorraine, you require 20.
double 10 to seal her place in the next round. Double 5. High first dart, can attack it third dart.
Game,
yes!
Shots, and the match.
Great dart from Lorraine Winstanley.
Winstanley.
She advances through to the next round, to indeed the semi-final. And it will be a bit of a box office semi-final as well, as the #1 seed will face either of the 2 female stars left in it, Anastasia Dobromyslova or Lisa Ashton. And that should be a blockbuster semi-final. She's just pleased to be there in the first place. Averages brought down at the end there with a bit of a scrappy finish to the match, but Lorraine overall will be very happy with that. A decent average overall and pretty consistent on the doubles as well. It was just the little bits in between the scoring and the getting to the doubles where she struggled a touch.
Yes, that's right. And 2 attempts at a 1-3-2. She hit the bull first dart and went for the bull second dart, which would have left double 16. They weren't going to happen, but it shows that there's a level of confidence there. The fact she's prepared to have a go at that that hasn't always been in the past, and that's what winning something like the World Masters can do. So there we are. It's Lorraine Winstanley who's through to the semi-finals. We'll be seeing her in action tomorrow, and we'll be back soon. Yes, there you are. We just had that second game. We've seen a victory for Jim Williams, and now we've seen a victory for Lorraine Winstanley. Both seeded, both through to the next stage of their respective competitions. Lorraine going through comfortably 4-0. Let's go now and hear what she's got to say about this wonderful game that she loves playing. And I believe she's there now with Steve Jameson, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. Lorraine, congratulations on the win. 4-0 maybe doesn't tell the story of that game because it seemed like a difficult one at times, where Anka gave you a good one.
Anka is a class player and you can never write her off, so I just tried to stay focused as best I could to just take one leg at a time, and that's the way you've got to play the game.
Yeah, and you seem to do that pretty well. There was a couple of great adjustments as well. We saw, I think in the third leg, 2 misses at the single, then to bang in the double 13 when you weren't expecting it. Is that sort of a nice little pep for you, knowing that you've got the double wherever you might need it?
I was more impressed that I actually knew what was left.
Yep, I think that's a perfectly acceptable answer. Look, you've got the semi-final coming up. It's the furthest you've ever been in this World Trophy, and I bet you're looking forward to the match, whoever you end up playing.
I am, and I am just absolutely over the moon to get to this stage. I've not performed well in this tournament in the previous years, so whether it be Anna or Lisa, you can only play what's in front of you, and we're all capable on our day, so you've just got to do what you've got to do.
And it should be a great game, whoever you end up playing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, and she's a very modest individual. She actually, I think, won that exactly as the score suggested. She was far, far superior to her opponent. But that's how I saw it. Scott Baker against Andy Baetens comes next. It's England against Belgium. And first to 6 legs in the men's second round, of course. It extends beyond that when we go to the next round. So let's have these two players introduced. I think little Richard Ashton is waiting. Scott Baker then from the Black Country against Andy Baetens. Richard.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the second round of our men's competition at the 2018 BDO World Trophy. The first player we bring to the stage is from England, the reigning Welsh Masters and German Masters champion, the Mod, Scott Baker. Scott's opponent is from Belgium, a Lakeside World Championship quarter-finalist, the reigning Belgian Masters and England Masters champion, Andy Baetens.
So there's the man who played so well in his opening round victory over Scott Waits in a classic game, Scott Baker, and this man Andy Baetens from Belgium, who had a rather more comfortable victory, but only by 6-4 against Justin Thompson from Australia. Hit 3 180s and had a 147 finish in that. They were the highlights of Andy Baetens' performance. Scott Baker, though, Steve, had 5 180s, a 161 finish in a 12
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, it's Scott to throw first.
Well, so
Game on.
he really did entertain us.
Oh, didn't he just? What an incredible performance it was against Scott Waits. Match of the tournament so far.
17.
And naturally, therefore, he opens up with 17 in the second round. Always the way. Andy Baetens has had similar difficulties
55.
with his first throw, but Scott Baker will almost want to just start again at this leg, and that's much more like it, much more what we're used to seeing from the Mod in this tournament so far. He was in fantastic form against Scott Waits. It's worth pointing as well, it takes very much two to tango, and Scott Waits was in equally magnificent form. Either could have won that game.
Oh, Waits was excellent. It was an excellent match, as you say.
99.
From Tipton in West Midlands, and plays for the West Midlands county team, actually.
100.
Local Bob Allen's Sports Bar, and he says my old Gold Cup pairs partner. They hold the British Gold Cup pairs title. Danny and Scott.
100.
And, they're in Allen's Sports Bar there down in Tipton. So he says hello.
100. And you require 146.
Andy Baetens had a chance to finish there.
60.
146.
Scott, you require 85.
So Baker wants 85. Treble 15 is where he'll start. Double 5. Oh, good finish.
Came short in the first
really
leg.
nice.
Scott Baker.
I think it was a feature of what we spoke about a lot in
Game on.
round 1, John, was that almost the lackadaisical sort of throw from Scott Baker. He just saunters up to the hockey and just flings his arm. He really doesn't do anything else. body-wise, body shape-wise, but look how effective it is.
Yeah, that's as quick a 180 as you'll get. You don't see many 180s go in zip, 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 just like that. And smile on his face, he enjoys his darts. Yes, it's a deceptive observation that you've made, because his throw is actually very, very good. He's perfectly still at the hockey. His arm comes through, a lovely follow through. I think it's the fact that he looks so uninhibited that makes you think as though he's almost throwing as though he were throwing the darts away, but he isn't.
60.
No, of course. It's quite strange to see a player so upright nowadays.
Yes.
Usually the habit is to lean.
105. Scott, you require 161.
We'd have had a job keeping up with them, I should think.
95.
Not out of this.
And
he
you
did throw
require
first, of course,
160.
but 160. It's still on.
140. Scott, you require 66.
Makes this a must check out for Scott Baker. 16 for tops. Tops he wants.
Yeah, that's game
bullets
shot in the second leg. Scott Baker.
That's about as slow as he'll
Third
ever throw a
leg,
dart. Just
Scott
took a
to throw
moment to
first.
pause
Came on.
and then took aim and fired, and his double accuracy has been absolutely spot on so far.
Yeah, brilliant. Nice to watch, isn't it?
134.
Two treble 19s picked off like nobody's business. We use the expression shelling peas, but
140.
a good effort from the 29-year-old, number 12 seed from Ghent. Actually,
85.
from Nieuwerkerken. Newchurch, as that's translated to. And good darts.
140.
Just a 140, second of this leg in succession. So
140.
he gets his 140s as well, doesn't he? Delightful on the eye.
It's really good to see, actually, that
38.
Scott Baker's
Scott,
just
you
picked
require
up from
142.
exactly where he was the other day against Scott Waits. This is the sort of darts he was throwing. Just pauses, goes 14s in the end. Didn't quite get it.
94.
So 183 becomes 123. Then it becomes 103 down for the 19s. 84 if he gets a go.
48.
But you think the way Baker's been finishing that he may not. Double 16.
Yeah,
Easy
that's game
peasy,
shot in
talking
the
about
third
shelling
leg.
peas.
Scott Baker. Forward
And
leg, it's
this
Andy
is
to
a
throw
very
first.
impressive
Game on.
start from the man from Tipton.
43. $81.
See there almost the annoyance at drifting right, and in response, fired in the treble. Baetens, by the way, has
100.
certainly not played badly at all. To be 3-0 down, considering I don't even think he's had a shot at a double yet. He's not
60.
scored badly in any way. He's just not quite at the high level that Baker has been consistently.
60.
That's right, he's got 8 more trebles. He hit 2 140s in that last leg and yet never got a shot at a double, as you say.
60.
That's not the most impressive visit we've had from Baker.
43.
Baker, despite being ranked 21, not seeded into this
60.
tournament, is the German Masters champion of this year. He's in pretty good nick. Baetens also is a reigning champion, and he's getting in on the 180 act as well, his first of the match.
140. And he
To leave
requires
himself on 100,
75.
but he's a chance for Baetens to get off the board, on the board. Tops he wants. Good
Yeah,
darts,
that's
lad.
game
Excellent
shot in the
last 6
fourth
arrows.
leg. Andy Baetens.
Gets the 180
Fifth
and then
leg, it's
polishes
got
off
to
the
throw first.
75. No
Game on.
problem. 255 in 6 darts.
Well, we've yet to see a missed dart at a double yet.
96.
Yes, good. Very good. That's the way it should be.
Absolutely. Oh, here we go again. Unlucky.
140.
Just see the scores there. Both of them stacking up the big scores.
100.
Mentioned that
30.
Andy's also a reigning champion. He's reigning Belgium and England Masters champion. Won 2 of them last year.
100.
Yes, I think they come up later this month, in a couple of weeks' time, a couple of weekends. Down
100.
And players, a number of the players here will be gearing up for that, not all.
85. 100. Scott, you require 120.
Shanghai then for the mod. Still on, not now.
60. And you
Offered odds
require
on him getting into trouble in
131.
2 darts. He'd have got slim odds indeed, but he didn't take it out. Baetens
91.
sets himself up nicely.
Scott, you require 60.
Gotta go.
Will do here. Double top. Mr. Double at last.
Yeah, that's
not
came
for
short
long.
of the fifth
Didn't matter,
flag.
you see.
Scott Baker.
That's a missed dart at a double that really shouldn't be in the stats, in the sense that it didn't cost him. It's the missed darts that cost you. That's the break then, and a wonderful, wonderful exhibition from Scott Baker, leading by 4 legs to 1. And Baetens hasn't done badly, in fairness, but you can see the overall average, very little between them. In fact, Baetens very slightly ahead, but it's the score at the top that matters most, and Scott Baker leads 4-1. We'll be back soon. And welcome as you join us in the break of the game between Andy Baetens and Scott Baker, the Belgian against the Englishman. And Andy Baetens having his warm-up after the break. Baker the same. Baker winning by 4 legs to 1. Showing some wonderful finishing, particularly earlier in the match. But generally, I think he's on 80% in his percentage checkout. So we start straight after the break with a 180 from the young Belgian, and his second of the match, his 5th in the competition.
60.
Can he follow it up with another? Well, there's your answer. Determinedly,
45.
no.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you see the averages there. We were both just discussing a little bit of a
83.
surprise, I think, in the break there, John. The averages not quite as high as we thought they might be, because they seem to be smashing in the trebles as Baetens is at it again. 2 180s in a single leg. He's got 96 off 9. And
100, and he required 96.
One of his visits was not particularly good at all. He's going to be out in no time.
That came short on a 6.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant. An 11 darter with a 45 included. That was absolutely astounding. 96 finish. Brilliant stuff from the lad. 180, 45, 180,
100.
and 96 in 2. Superb 11 darter. Oh dear, I don't know what the break did to him, but it certainly was a positive one.
$140.
And it's the man on song here. Is he going to hit another one? Oh yes, there's a plague of 180 suddenly from Andy Baetens.
45.
Like locusts in the desert here.
Marco Meyer stretching out the vocal cords since the break.
45.
Well, I wonder if he's going to have a repetition. So far, it's exactly the same as the last leg. Well,
60.
Not quite, because
And
he
you
did have
require
a
136.
140 beforehand.
Won't finish now. And
60.
This would be very like
Scott
Scott Baker.
156.
Check this one out against the run of play, as it were. Not going to get this now.
85, and you require 76.
Tops.
56.
Just south.
Scott, you require 71.
And that was potentially a big miss. Would have brought him back within 1 and back on throw.
Getting flustered now. Just been hit by a barrage of 180s, and it's just knocked him off his stride a little bit.
And you require
And now
20.
Baker comes in. Sorry, Baetens comes in for double 10. He's got it. 16 darter. An excellent
8 leggers, and he did throw first.
response to the 4-3 scoreline, that 4-1 scoreline that stood at the break. He's come back and hit 2 fabulous legs.
81.
An 11 darter and a 16 darter. Just knocked Baker off his stride a little bit.
100.
Just shows what power scoring can really do. It's not just necessarily all about your own darts, but when it seems you cannot miss that
60.
treble 20, which ironically I'm aware he's just done 3 times there, but it just gives that impression to your opponent that they're up against it.
100.
Scott Baker has responded pretty well in this leg with back-to-back tons. He's ahead.
85. 60.
Yeah, not attacking that treble 20. He's trying to, but not really hitting it as he was earlier in the
100.
game. Good last dart there. And at the moment, Baker's having to withstand a tricky spell. It's interesting
83.
to see how he reacts to it.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same things. The first, there was a bit of adversity to
36.
cope with in the
Scott, you
tournament.
require 158.
It's all gone so swimmingly for him so far.
60. And you require 139.
59 left.
99.
Tops when he goes.
Scott Unicorn,
Be
98.
very surprised if he doesn't. 93. Shake of the head. Needed the treble 19. It's all
35.
gone awry. 4-1 could very
40.
soon be 4 apiece. Double 10.
20.
Well, they'll be cheering in
Scott
Alan's
Unicorn
bar at
is
that, not because they've
63.
got anything against Andy Baetens, but because they support this man. Oh, now then, 63 was looking at treble 13 there. Now he wants double 16.
31. And you require 20.
He couldn't miss a dart earlier on in this match. And now he's really struggling.
Yeah,
Double
that's
5
game
goes
shot
for Andy
in the
Baetens.
eight
This is a good
Andy
comeback
Baetens.
from the
9
Belgian
black is Scott Detroit first. Game on.
Yes, that wasn't the greatest leg of darts we've ever seen, but as far as Baetens is concerned, it was
41.
invaluable. Hard to believe that just a few minutes ago, because he throws pretty quickly as well, both go
55.
a pace, and time he reassembled himself. and
41.
got his, got the impetus back in his game.
140.
And you can just see on Scott's face, playing
100.
frustrated at the moment. It's etched on every line on his face. You can see he's fighting himself as well as Andy Baetens at the
97.
moment.
Good 140. Now that might kickstart his game, because since the break it's almost been non-existent.
49.
Certainly haven't had the quality that we had before the break. 99 left.
99.
80
And
when
he
he goes, unless
160.
Baetens can take out a 160, and the way he's been playing, I wouldn't put it past him. Another one of those. Oh, perhaps
100. Scott
he ought to put
Unicorn,
one
80.
alongside it. I half expected at the moment the way he's been playing.
You and me both. Now, double 10. Big
Let's
dart
game
that for
shot
Scott
and a
Baker.
9 black.
Needed
Scott
that.
Baker.
Really,
10 black
really
is
did
Andy
need
Detroit
it.
first. Game on.
Puts himself back ahead. Stops the slide.
70.
Yes, holds his throw, and now he'll go. Oh, lovely 140 in reply to just 70 from his opponent.
100.
Only 30 in it now. 60 means he's 30 ahead, 90 ahead. Oh, what a time to hit the maximum. I mentioned about kick-starting his match. He's a wry smile on his face and a shake of the head as if to say, where's that been? Where has that been
25.
since the break?
Well, Baetens has just had a bounce out. That nearly landed in Blackpool.
Oh, well, you can never trounce out with a bounce out.
95.
86 left then for Baker when he comes back.
60. Scott Unicorn, 86.
This to take the match. The last leg was such a big leg to win. Double 4.
78.
He'll be back though.
Yes, 246, way behind now. He did a 255 earlier in 6 darts, but
100. Scott Unicorn, 8.
one of the legs that he won, yes, he did. It was the 4th leg of the match. And that is the last leg of the match, because in the end, it's Scott Baker who led 4-1 at the break, saw his opponent claw it back to 4 apiece, but he got his game back just in time, and the mod is still rocking in this World Darts Trophy. Excellent stuff from Scott Baker. In the end, he put on a display in the first half, and he finished the game really well.
Yeah, he really did. He'll just try and pretend that the 3 legs after the break, which all went the way of Andy Baetens, didn't happen. Yeah, played well, did the Belgian. and we saw some pretty good double success rate. Indeed, it took us to the, I think, the 5th leg of the match for us to see a missed double from either of the two players. Good standard of game, and it's Scott Baker who eventually secures his place in the quarterfinals. He'll play the winner of the last game, so Jim Williams is his opponent in the quarterfinals, and two very flowy players. It'll be a good game to watch, make no mistake. We've got some more on the way for you very shortly though. That's coming up after the break.
So Scott Baker winning that one, and he'll be playing Jim Williams in the next round of the men's competition. So looking forward to Labanauskas and Richie Edwards, Dobromyslova and Ashton. That'll be a cracking game in the ladies' quarter-final, and we finish off with Tony O'Shea against Glenn Durant. What a night of darts still left here in Preston. So let's go now over to Steve. He's talking to our recent winner, Scott Baker.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. Scott, pleasure to be with you once again. A fantastic performance in the first round, and it started off just like you'd never left the stage in that one. Bit of struggle in the middle, but you got through it. How pleased are you?
Oh, I'm over the moon. Really, that was hard. That was harder. It felt harder, but there, I'm over the moon.
Started off like a train. It's almost literally as if you hadn't left the stage. Is it pleasing for you to have had a bit of a sticky patch and then come through it? Does that show you just how well you are playing in general?
Yeah, because, well, you have to battle through it anyway, and I'm glad I've had it at a bit of an early stage, because I don't want to get that if I get right to the end. Get it out of the way now.
And I know you were saying to me earlier, this is the first time you've ever beaten Andy as well. You seem to be going after some records of your own at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me and Andy have had some good games, some really good games, but today's the day I've finally beat him. So. But he's a good lad. I love Andy. He's a good mate of mine, so I wish him all the best anyway. He's a good kid.
And in terms of your next round, Jim Williams, another player you've just told me you've never beaten before. They're there to be knocked down, aren't they?
I hope so. Of course I do. I'm a nice guy. I'm going to run him down.
Well, it's lovely to see you in the next round. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. Congratulations indeed. And very friendly guy. Always got a smile on his face. And another one who has is Richie Edwards and Darius Labanauskas. Maybe a little more serious looking. So they're the two who are going to be doing battle now. The Welshman against the Lithuanian. So let's go over now and have them introduced by that little man called Richard Ashton.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the second round here at the 2018 BDO World Trophy. Let's welcome to the stage a two-time BDO ranking event semi-finalist. He's Welsh, he's tricky, Richie Edwards! We now introduce a BDO World Trophy and Lakeside World Championship quarter-finalist, Lithuania's Lucky D, Darius Labanauskas.
Well, here are the two gentlemen tasked with making their way through to the quarter-finals. Darius Labanauskas of Lithuania and Richie Edwards of Wales. And both these players scrapped their way through round one. Neither found it particularly easy going. Darius Labanauskas, despite beating very good player, Martin Phillips, 6'2". The game itself wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing, to say the least. Martin had a bit of a poor one himself, and Darius got a bit ground into the mixture. And for Richie, he had a really scrappy game against Mandagers. Neither played particularly well, and it was just a case of getting through. And that's what both these players will be pleased to have done. Maybe they can kick-start their tournament from here.
They've knocked out the number 9 and number 8 seeds respectively, so 2 unseeded players on here. As you say, Labanauskas took care of Martin Phillips, so one Welshman has bitten the dust at his hand. Now can another. Labanauskas, 41 years of age, from Galiava in the Kaunas region of Lithuania. Known as Lucky D.
45.
We'll see how lucky he is over the next few minutes. And reached the quarterfinals 2 years ago. Played pretty well there in the
57.
Couldn't go all the way though.
100.
And Richie Edwards from Pontypridd in South Wales. Hoping at the age of 29 he can put a really big event in his CV, and with darts like this, who would want to deny him? Great effort, super 180, first of the match. He did hit a couple against Mandagers.
Good time to hit it there as well. Both were trotting along at a very similar rate, and all of a sudden this leg is blown wide open. He's got 6 darts at 76, might only need 2 or 3.
the angle of the dart in there makes him wonder whether he's got to go to the left and throw over the top of it, or well to the right and throw just inside it. That's what he would have to do, but again over the top of it. It's lying very awkwardly indeed.
Came short in the first line.
Wow.
And it went in. Very good. Excellent stuff.
Darius to throw first.
Game on. Fantastic individual dart, that.
Yes, nice bit of manoeuvring, wasn't it?
29.
And Richie tells me that his mum and dad and all his darts mates are watching him in Timor, the pub in Pontypridd. So I hope you're enjoying it, folks, and I hope you continue to do so. I'm not taking sides. I'm merely wishing you a very good evening and hope that you enjoy the match.
Very dignified as ever. Diplomatic.
He's going to get another big score here.
139.
They're both going with each other. Both started the leg terribly with 66 and 29, but 139 and 134 for Edwards and Labanauskas ever since.
96.
Back at the top table of the scoring, for a while at least yet.
34.
At least Darius was. She just slipping back down.
Yes, you mentioned in his previous game
100
that he'd won the Lithuanian Open Championship 5 years out of 8. He's the reigning Lithuanian Open
92.
champion.
Darius require 142.
Quarter-finalist in the Lakeside World Championship last year, 2017. Darius Labanauskas.
82. Richie require 170.
As I mentioned in this competition as well 2 years ago. Richie Edwards wanted another treble 20 and he's so disappointed at that. Labanauskas to level up then, 61.
85. Darius requires 60.
Single for double then.
Yeah,
yes,
that's game
very
short
nicely picked off that. No danger. No
Third
danger.
leg is Richie to throw first. Game on. $57.
Winner of this last 16 game will head through to the quarterfinals naturally, and they'll have a tough game.
140.
They end up playing. Our final match of the night tonight is probably the biggest in terms of name.
140.
Tony O'Shea versus Durant, current reigning world champion, and facing off against one of the living legends of the sport, Tony O'Shea, 3-time Lakeside finalist.
60.
Yes, as you say, that'll follow this. How long this will go, we don't know yet. One apiece. First to 6.
95.
Of course, we've got our brilliant women's match coming up to decide who's going to face Lorraine Winstanley. Here with us for that one, Anastasia Dobromyslova versus Lisa Ashton. Will be a cracker.
91.
What a good last start from Labanauskas. And moves within 1 of his opponent. Well, that's a great pick-off, wonderful pick-off. I thought he'd have stayed up there. I couldn't really see what he was going to profit by going downstairs, because there's plenty of room for another treble 20. But you can't argue with it when it goes in.
98.
So 72 he wants.
72.
And that's perhaps the reason why he went down. He wanted to leave himself 72 rather than 69, and who's to say he's not right?
Certainly not us after the success rate, at least. Great darts from
100.
It's that, and the clinicality he's shown in taking out the double so far will be pleasing to him. Both he and Phil Mandigas.
60.
A couple of really difficult legs in their first round match. Has been better from Edwards so far.
82.
Excellent treble 19 gives him a lead here of 122.
95.
95 from Edwards. It's a trend so far that's being set with each leg going with throw. And Labanauskas
99.
not a cert to hold his throw here, but well on course. Well, that could change things a little.
Great time to hit that. Just end up keeping himself in the leg, because Labanauskas is playing pretty well. But just a reminder more than anything else,
100.
Any error, and Richie Edwards is right behind him. One of those would continue that feeling.
Well, on 212, ideally you want to hit a 180 and leave yourself 32.
120.
But chance here for Labanauskas to go 2-2 with the old Shanghai. That's the first bit of it. That's the second bit of it. And that's not the third bit of it. But he may be back, but this would certainly give Edwards. He's now somehow got to get over there into the treble 20. He's no option. You can't go elsewhere. I mean, you could go treble 18, double 19, but what would be the point of that? Sorry, treble 8, yeah, treble 8, yeah.
40.
And that first start wasn't his best in all fairness.
That is require 40.
Going for 112. He didn't make life easy for himself.
Yeah,
and he did, so there we are, that's 2 apiece.
Fifth leg is Richie to throw first.
The last leg before the break. Who's going to win it? Who's going to take the initiative?
Yeah, you can
42.
see with the way that Richie's darts go in, they can create a problem for him. Saw it in the very first leg with the double 8, and he had to almost swerve round like a free kick in football
91.
to avoid his first dart. There's a similar situation there. They go in, it's difficult to see, but they go in at an angle throws them almost in right to left,
46.
going almost diagonally. He goes under the bed, that's when he's in trouble. Harris, by contrast, the lovely flat darts.
94.
These are fairly long ones though, and they can hang over the target. So that's why sometimes he has to move, even though they're quite away from the treble 20 as they were then. Cleaning his fingernails during the match. I'm not sure that's allowed. Actually, he's just putting the flight back in one of the darts, using the point to help.
Whatever he's done, it seems to have worked.
135.
Yes. Only 38 ahead though, so a little precarious this for Edwards.
90.
Seems to have gone like this. It's been nip and tuck, even all the way through.
Pick off at treble 17 there. This is a real nail biter. This leg alone, a great 1-2-1, 157, but 2-2-6. Put a 140 in and or a 1-3-4. Which is what he's done.
34. Richie require 157.
What a leg this is. 157. 92. That's 142 left. Into treble.
50.
Gets one, but not the one he wanted. I think 92. That's only 50 scored. 92 then for the break of throw. 67, 17 bull, treble 17, double 8. Bull he wants then, moves across again. That long dart hanging over the bull.
67.
Oh, unlucky.
Richie
very close indeed.
Really unlucky. Oh, good first dart. 50 left. He'll go double 15 because he's at 20 rather than the 10. Just double checks with the referee. Double 15.
92.
Oh, fair play, he attacked it.
Darius required
He's
25.
annoyed with himself because that was a careless dart at single 10. Went in the double. Now double 8. Could it be a costly moment if this goes in double 4? And Richie can hardly look.
21.
He's going to have another go.
Richie, you require
at
15.
15 this time. Got the 3. Can he get the double 6? Fraction inside that. Oh,
9.
and I think it actually nudged it further in. Sometimes
4.
they nudge them in, sometimes that was right on the wire. So it had a negative effect. Now 4, 2, double 1. Nervous leg this, all right.
2.
And Edwards coming back for 6. He may go 2, double 2 here. I don't know. I don't know whether he fancies double 3 or not. Evidently he's prepared to give it a go. And that's the problem.
4.
That's the problem.
Darius required 2.
I did suspect we may have one of these legs in this game from what we saw from both gentlemen in their first rounds. We might get one of these. The winner, what a leg to do it as well. One before the break. 2 apiece, precarious. And Darius can't get it in.
And I tell you that Richie Edwards is like a cat on a hot tin roof at the moment. He's got to settle down and find that double 1 somehow. Keep control of himself. And
No
you
score.
won't attack it. Either player with their first 2 darts, play it throwing safe, hoping that it drops in rather than aiming at it, so to speak. Because, of course, if you drop in it, then you burst your score.
Yeah,
but that's the way to do it. It may not be the best leg we've seen all week, but by Jove, it's an important one for Labanauskas. He leads 3-2 at the break, and Richie Edwards has got to go and compose himself. He looked a little flustered there.
Yeah, he did, and that has ruined the stats for these 2 gentlemen as well, who have actually played pretty well. The 9-dart average is pretty decent, 85 for Richie Edwards, 90 for Darius, and the overalls have been significantly dropped by those double percentage numbers. And take a look at the double percentages, 18 and 23 miles lower, and we know they're better players than that. We've seen it already. But that leg was an important one. Labanauskas breaks the throw. He'll come back with the darts. 3-2 up after the break.
Well, 5 legs gone in this game between the Lithuanian, just practicing there, Darius Labanauskas, and the Welshman Richie Edwards, pouring himself another glass of water. And maybe just calm down a little during the break. He was getting very, very heated. Het up, I suppose you might say. Frustrated at that.
6 leg, it's Darius the throw first. Game on.
Frustrated by the fact that he couldn't hit a double. Neither could Labanauskas, who ended up winning it with double one, which is every bit as good as a 170 if you win the leg.
140.
It really doesn't matter if you win the leg, you can put it behind you straight away. But if you lose a leg like that, it does take something to completely blank it out of your mind. But the break may well have helped him do this. Great start by Labanauskas, 140. And a ton from the Welshman.
Well, I'm glad you said that, John, because next time I'll sort of double one and eventually crawl over the line. I can know safe in my head that it's as good as a 170 according to you. Make me feel a touch better about things.
In terms of its value to the game, a winning leg, it is. Obviously, in reality, it isn't. But you only get one leg for a double.
100.
Whether it's with the bull after 2 treble 20s, or whether it's straight to that green bit.
$81. Darius, you require 136.
So after 9 darts, chance here of a 12 darter.
$96.
That's 96 to leave 40, so thinking about it, intelligent, being used.
82.
Nice last start, but it might be too little too late. Labanauskas tops here for a 13 darter, double 10 for 14 darts then. Oh, here we go again, could be. Oh no, he made it in the end. 15 darter to Labanauskas, and he's now won 3 legs in a row. Held his throw twice, of course. Broke the throw with that double one earlier, before the break. And now
125.
Richie Edwards has got to show quite a bit of character here. Did there 2 great treble 20s.
Labanauskas is straight back in though.
140.
Yes, we just had the 180 so far in this match. Came in the opening leg from this man. Maybe get a second here now. Yes, just on cue. Absolutely brilliant. We're not wired up, folks. Nice for him to get it though, while I mentioned his first one.
I'm gonna say it's remarkable how often that happens, isn't it? It really is.
96.
Great darts from Edwards, and that might just settle him down. I think you're right, Johnny. He's been a bit antsy since the struggle
80.
kicked in with the final leg before the break. And it's difficult enough playing Labanauskas in the second round of a World Trophy. He's got that extra baggage of battling with himself as well at the
95.
moment. Every dart being hyper-analysed.
Labanauskas gets to the 95, that lands him on 170. We've seen one example of a 170 finish in the second game of
60.
the tournament.
Darius,
And,
170.
it's about time we had another. Darius, you're listening to me? Because Richie Edwards was a few minutes ago.
78. Richie
78 leaves
56.
92. Edwards 16 for tops here. Lovely marker.
16.
Still a lovely marker.
Darius,
Nothing to throw at it.
92.
It would have been a 14 dart leg potentially, which would have been a great response from Richie Edwards. Would have been just what he needed. That was not what Labanauskas wanted.
65 left. May well go for the green bit there. He did. 62 left, treble 10. Well, he went for
44.
treble 8 there
Richie
anyway.
40.
48 left. He was obviously on 72, not 62.
Yeah, that's
Error.
good shot and a
But
7
Edwards
bar.
gets the double
Richie
top.
Edwards.
He needed that leg. He
It's
got the
Darius
180
through
earlier
first.
in that leg,
He
didn't
won.
he? And still Labanauskas had his opportunities to win it. So a let-off in a way for Edwards, but at least he took advantage, held his throw, and I think it would have been end of game if he'd not held his throw. Effectively, anyway.
Yeah, completely agree. This is a big leg now, obviously, for Richie. If he can square things up at 4 apiece, it really could go either way. But I think if Labanauskas gets one from home, he just seems a little bit more composed, generally speaking. And I can't imagine him letting that lead slip. I hope I haven't just put the commentator's curse on him.
100.
Nice safe ton in response to 77.
58.
Well, using the board, well, they're bemusing us. Oh, excellent. Excellent use of the cover shot there, the 19s. Excellent.
123.
Great darts there as well. Likewise from tricky Richie Edwards. Just puts him in contention, especially if Labanauskas can't find a treble here. Only 24 scored.
44.
Yeah, he's got to take advantage, Edwards. He's got to break sometime, so this is offering a very good opportunity for him. He needs that treble now, though.
100.
Yes, he's 37 ahead. Could have done with the 140, really. But at least he's in this leg with a real chance.
And less than a ton is less than ideal for Labanauskas.
Richie
He's only going to have 120. So Edwards might get more than 3 darts at this. He won't allow himself to think that, though.
Well, that... I don't think hypercritical, but that was a good dart.
120.
It had to be in at least 17. He was going for the treble 17. Now 120. It's not going to be easy for him to get that treble. Got to go for it, though. And so Edwards, who couldn't look, couldn't
55.
watch, knows that
Richie requires 60.
this is as important as 60 as he's... And again, there's waywardness. Wasting a dart. He's got to go for tops here now. And
20.
instead of having 2 darts at tops, he's only had the 1.
65.
Well, I don't think it'd be hypercritical to say that. Very, very sloppy. Darius Labanauskas. Tops he wants.
Yeah,
Tops
that's game
he
shots in
gets.
the 8 leg. Darius
As
Labanauskas.
I mentioned, he's a very clinical player, Labanauskas. He saw that opening and really did take advantage.
Well, there were 2 darts in that leg that summed up Tricky Ricky's game as it stands at the moment. The 3 when he was going for treble 17, and the 5 when he was going for 60. And instead, with certainty to have 2 darts at tops, and it went. He can hit them. He has interspersed his really good shots with wasteful ones. Labanauskas too, but to a lesser extent.
Yeah, it's ultimately that consistency which is Labanauskas' best weapon against Richie Edwards, because whilst Edwards has banged in the game's 2 180s, he's also had some very loose ones, as he mentioned, and Labanauskas has just been that little bit more consistent.
91.
Yeah, 1 wasteful dart, but it's been a good leg for all that. 134, 140, 83.
Richie requires 144.
Call that a gross 12-12s in the times table when I was at school.
88.
Knows he'll be back, and it will have to go. Well, there's the 5. It's a bit more helpful.
70. Richie, you require 56.
Got to go this then. For Edwards, tops. It's a good marker. Oh,
26.
That's a wild one.
Darius, you require 155.
Yes, he's on that 15, double 15 that didn't serve him well when he inadvertently got double 10 going for single 10. And he ended up losing a very clumsy leg there.
119. Richie, you require 30.
Go for it. Well, I think you have to. It's actually, and he's done. All credit to him.
Richie,
it is in a nice part of the board, in fairness, down at that 25 past the hour. And he found it perfectly. So 5-4, still very much game on, but Labanauskas, an experienced performer, knows that one good leg on his throw and he's through into the quarterfinals.
82.
That last dart makes that score decent, if not great.
He's done that a few times as well. 19s have come to his aid
100.
regularly.
Not a classic, 81.8 and 84.0. Let's be honest.
101.
I'd have preferred an averages from the players, the total average, if you like, where the 9 dart averages are. That's the kind of standard they've got to try and aim for, reach. Certainly, if they wish to win a tournament such as this, you really have to.
And certainly
134.
whoever goes on to play in the quarterfinal against either Tony O'Shea or Glenn Durant, this would not quite cut it.
119.
It's opposition of that calibre. They've just got to get there first. That's all they'll be focusing on at the moment. Labanauskas is 184 away from doing that. He just wants to set this up.
Yes, you've got to jump Valentine's before you can start
60.
talking about the canal turn. That's the way you've got to do it, you know. And Edwards getting frustrated with himself because too many darts like
22.
that one.
Darius,
You
you
can't
require
understand
124.
why. And maybe it's connected with his anxiety.
Only 60, but he knew that would be okay. He'll have 3 darts at 64.
Maybe the last
57.
darts we see from Richie Edwards this
Darius
year in the
64.
Darts Trophy, World Darts Trophy. We'll see. Another one of those. Now the double 16 for a 6-4 victory. Oh, right
48.
next door, would you believe? It's a Lithuanian corner.
Scarcely gets closer than that.
86.
Right on the border.
Darius, you require 60.
I'd just love to slot it straight back where it was.
And that's
Game,
bad
shot,
news for Richie Edwards.
Darius
He gives a round of
Labanauskas.
applause to Darius Labanauskas, who's now got the mighty task of taking on the winner of our last game this evening. That's Tony O'Shea and Glenn Durant. But there we are. A win is a win is a win. And the averages are not impressive, it's got to be said. If you're going to be playing in the World Darts Trophy and hoping to win, or even to reach the later stages, then really you've got to do better than 80.64 and even 83.49. And Labanauskas got away with playing a guy who wasn't on top of his game.
Labanauskas then advances through, and he will have to improve. As we've mentioned, he plays the winner of Tony O'Shea and Glenn Durant. That match is coming up for you shortly. Before that, we've got the final women's quarter-final as Anastasia Dobromyslova takes on Lisa Ashton. That is next.
Yes, the Guildhall Preston and the evening schedule. There you are, 4 games already completed, and victories for Williams, Winstanley, Baker, and most recently Darius Labanauskas. And well, you could say 4 legendary names left this evening, and we're really looking forward to the next leg game, Dobromyslova versus Ashton, O'Shea and Durant. Those are going to be quality matches, I'm pretty certain of that. Anyway, our last winner, as I mentioned, was Darius Labanauskas. I think he's probably down with Stephen in the interview area even. Now, as I hand over to you, Steve.
Tournament, real battle out there. How do you feel?
Thank you very much. Of course, we can play better, but not top game we have. But I'm win because I have a little bit more lucky only.
And I know this sets up a potential rematch for you in the next round. I know you played Glenn Durant a couple of years ago. That one went pretty well for you. Is that you were looking forward to potentially playing either him or Tony O'Shea?
Both top player. I'm play against both player, and I'm win and I'm lost. But if I want a bit tomorrow, I think I need to play more better.
Well, if it does come to that, we hope that you do and give us a cracker. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Yes, Darius, he's got a job on next round, that's for certain, as we've hinted there. So the BDO World Trophy, this 2018, coming towards its final stages. The last women's game in the quarterfinals is about to start, and well, I think, folks, this is going to be a really good game. So Lisa Ashton and Anastasia Dobromyslova, let's go over to our MC, and of course that's the man who loves to occupy the stage, Richard Ashton.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the 2018 BDO World Trophy. And what a match we have coming up in the women's competition to complete tomorrow's semi-final lineup. We introduce to the stage a former Winmore World Masters and BDO World Trophy champion. 3 times the Lakeside World Champion from Russia with love, Anastasia Dobromyslova. We now welcome to the stage a former Winmore World Masters and 2-time BDO World Trophy champion. She's the reigning 4-time Lakeside World Champion, the Lancashire Rose, Lisa Ashton.
There's a few World Championships between these two, and 1 or 2 World Darts trophies too. Great friends, you can see them chatting away on there, but also equally great rivals. And that's the beauty of this game of darts. You know, they're about to embark on a game that is of real importance to them, and yet they can smile and get themselves ready for the big moment in what I call a civilised way. That's general in darts, I think. We do get the odd exception, of course. Rarely in the ladies' game, anyway.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this one. Lisa Ashton's been in great form in this competition so far. She has won this one before, in 2015 and 2016. She beat Corrine Hammond 4-0 in the first rounds. Chucked in the 14 darts for good measure in that game.
Ladies and gentlemen,
never
first
really
leg,
had to
Lisa
stretch herself too
first.
far. She might have to against Anastasia, mind, who won comfortably in her round 1 match, 4-0 as well. We're expecting a cracker.
100.
Yes, starting with a ton. That's how it'll generally continue. Certainly I can say from Lisa Ashton, and if once Dobromyslova finds the range, that was the feature of that first game. Once she found the range, beautiful action, and she was excellent.
60.
Took a leg and a half and then suddenly switched into gear, and she won 4-0. They both won 4-0, in fact, as you mentioned.
$57.
Her partner Tony Martin is here watching her, and 17-month-old son
45.
Joseph is back with Gran in Ellesmere Port. That's Tony's mother looking after their young child.
100.
Oh, that's a very rare visit, that from Lisa. Not often you see her put that sort of score on the board, and potentially an opening here for Anastasia. I'd love a treble. She's only hit 1 in the leg so far.
59.
In fact, so is Lisa. It's been a slow start to this one, uncharacteristically
Kicked
so.
off with a ton, and it hasn't really picked up since then, has it? Or taken off, I should say.
45.
That's waywardness as well. That's well done. And against the darts, she's 111 ahead, Dobromyslova. Originally from Russia, of course.
58.
Still proudly
Anastasia, you
bears
require
the Russian
127.
title, Russian flag.
Yeah, wanted that for ball, but she knows she'll be back. That's a great last start. And in this format, first to 4, breaks are absolutely massive. Neither player can really afford to start slow. That's something that Lisa's done here.
Anastasia, you require
Double
28.
14 for a 1-0 lead against the darts.
Yes, clean, clinical, concise.
Second leg, Anastasia to throw first.
First leg
Game
to
on.
Anastasia.
Big first leg that, you feel. Because if Lisa had come out all guns blazing,
100.
she out the pair of them had the potential to really run away with it. For the neutral eye,
43.
it's a good first leg, that for Anastasia.
Yeah, Lisa far from her best. Only 40 there, and she's got to get things together, because you're quite right, it's
95.
over before. You know, sometimes when it's first to 4, can't afford too many errors.
60.
The margin for them.
Well, this is a surprising start, to say the least, from Lisa Ashton. Saw her practicing away while we were waiting to interview Darius at the end of the last match. And
41.
she was firing in trebles. Top, bottom, left, right, wherever you look. Having absolutely no trouble.
60.
Trouble is what she's having, make no mistake. Anastasia rather is a long way up here, and she's only hit 2 trebles in the leg.
46.
No, Lisa's got to gather her scattered wits and somehow get it together.
44.
This is the least impressive I've seen her play for a long, long time, and maybe at all. And Anastasia,
99.
on the other hand, knows that she just keeps ticking away like that. Well, it is rare. We haven't seen
Anastasia, you require 120.
a big double, a big treble rather, for a while now. Now treble 20 would have left tops.
45.
She won't mind that. 75 left against 249.
It's remarkable, this from Lisa. That's only the second and then third. Isn't it weird how they all come at once?
Anastasia, you require
Big trebles
75.
that she's hit in the entirety of the match so far. Brings herself back into it with that. 18 leaves tops. Ooh, double 2 now.
73.
Now.
Lisa, you
Double
require
1.
115.
Yeah. Anastasia will consider that to have been very clumsy indeed, and it may now. And there you are, suddenly splurts to life. And takes the leg with 115 finish, and that's what you have to guard against. Because she got the 1-3-4 that set it up, so she effectively did a 6-start 249.
36.
Brilliant.
Strange old game, isn't it, darts?
Well, it is, and it was the carelessness of the Russian girl, Russian woman. She should never have ended up on double 2.
100.
Still a double to be got, and had she hit it, of course. But the previous dart, which went in treble 18, which was meant for single 18, really was a costly one.
140.
But she's put it behind her. Get on with things. 2 140s on the trot. Says it all.
Yeah, this game is... Well, it's juddered into life, kicking and screaming in this third leg. We're finally seeing what both of these players are capable of. 2-2-1 plays 2-2-5. Anastasia has essentially stolen the darts though with those 2 140s, but hasn't followed it up. Doesn't leave herself a finish.
65.
160, 180. For another leg against the throw, if Dobromyslova gets another treble. Well, she's 80 left.
Lisa, you
So
require
she gets another treble
160.
20, she'll come back for tops. But another one of those and it gets interesting. Oh yes, double top, what did? Oh, what a finish that would have been to follow 115. Then it would have taken her ahead. Taken her a while to find her equilibrium, but by Jove, she's certainly done that.
60.
That wasn't convincing at tops, was it?
No, not at all. Anastasia. Double 10, good mark of that. Oh, a bit inside now. Double 5.
15.
No, well short.
She knew it underpitched. She knew the moment that left her hand that it was probably going to be nearer the treble than the double. That's unlucky. That's very unlucky. And that's brilliant. Slide it alongside. What an important dart.
Anastasia to throw first. Game on.
Dobromyslova goes back in front against the darts again. All 3 legs against the throw.
Yeah, that last leg was what we've been waiting for, really, from these two. For 2 legs. And it feels like a lot longer than that because the legs themselves were fairly lengthy.
60.
Anthony Dundas standing statue-like. You have to when you're the referee. Players
100.
about to throw. Don't like to be disturbed.
100. 100.
Yes, testing with tonsils a little anyway.
Anastasia's thrown a straight ton on 3 of her visits.
100.
3 100s from Dobromyslova, 2 from Lisa Ashton. That's 5 on the trot. Won't get one here, I don't think, anyway.
75.
Good last start, really good.
Put her on 126. Ashton needs a treble of some sort.
32.
No, that was
Anastasia, you require 126.
poor effort, really. And now 126, and she'll go conventional way, if you like, by the treble 20. 86 left, across for 18s. Oh no.
58.
Got treble 6 to leave 68. 86 left. I'm wondering what she was going for there.
Anastasia,
to be honest,
you
but
require
anyway.
68.
Double 16. Gets
Game
it.
shot,
1
the
dart
fourth leg.
needed.
Anastasia Dobromyslova.
And Anastasia
Fifth leg,
Dobromyslova
Lisa to
is
throw first.
1 away here.
Game on.
Lisa Ashton has got her work cut out. She's on the precipice
60.
of a quarterfinal exit. You can see there the average is well below what we'd expect from perhaps actually both players. Anastasia hasn't been anywhere near her vintage, but
64.
particularly Lisa well back.
Well, yeah, the indifferent start is the reason why there's that much difference between them. And normally these players in
140.
the 80s I've known throw much higher than that, but normally it's somewhere in the 80s. But most certainly
59.
that 3-1 lead reflects the way the game is. Doesn't always, but it certainly does here.
95.
Anastasia Dobromyslova has been, right from the outset, far more consistent. Lisa Ashton has had her brilliant moments like that 115, which was almost followed by a 160. Had it, had she got that double top and made it, she'd have gone 2-1 ahead. Very different score,
100.
possibly. I know.
This leg's been much more like it there from Lisa. 140, 95, 100. Tee her up on 106.
50.
And the
Lisa, you
Dobromyslova's
require
not going to threaten, so
106.
6 darts in from here should make it 3-2.
68 left, 48
58.
left. That's right, this is a leg where Anastasia will plug away in the hope that Lisa has some less than accurate
100.
darts on the double.
Lisa, you
Let's put
require
it that way.
48.
48, no problem. Double top, double 10,
Game shot in
and
the
there
fifth
it
leg.
is.
Lisa Ashton. Sixth
Nicely done
leg,
from Lisa
Anastasia
Ashton,
to throw
but she
first.
knows
Game on.
there's only so much she can do here because Anastasia Dobromyslova has the darts to win
140.
through to the semi-finals, and that is a brilliant start from Anastasia. 140.
The best 140 she's hit in this
66.
match, because it's such an important one. Such an important one. And another one to follow, eh?
Well, you mentioned the first was important. That one just as. That really does consolidate
26.
the advantage, particularly when Lisa's gone 66-26. It would be a minor miracle for Anastasia to not at the very least, get first start the double. She's in again.
140.
3 consecutive 140s tells all. Dobromyslova is on fire. Brilliant darts. 81 wanted, and a 140 from Lisa Ashton might
Anastasia,
be
you require 81.
rather too late now. 81 wanted. 62 wanted. You go treble 10, I would have thought. 52 wanted. Well, she wanted
34.
20 for double 16, but we'll forgive her that dart. That's the only wayward dart she's thrown in this leg. 47 for the match.
59. Anastasia, you require 47.
double 16. And she nails it. First dart. Anastasia Dobromyslova advances through to the World Trophy semi-finals. Look what it means. She enjoyed that one. She's absolutely delighted with that result. Lisa Ashton with an uncharacteristically poor performance, it must be said. But Anastasia can only beat the Lisa Ashton that turns up, and it wasn't the usual Lisa Ashton, but a fantastic win nevertheless for Anastasia. 9-dart average was right up there, 95, 82 their overall, and she will be ecstatic to make it through.
Any player who beats Lisa Ashton has every right to be ecstatic, especially in the manner she did there. Anyway, we'll be back soon. We've got, of course, a terrific game coming up. We've got Silver back against Duzzer. Work that one out, folks. See you soon. So our latest winner, Anastasia Dobromyslova, 4-2 over Lisa Ashton, who was not a normal self, to be honest, but that takes nothing away from the Russian woman's wonderful performance. 3-1-4 on the trot in that last leg, you know. Very much on song. And the one to come, they saved the best to the last in terms of status, I suppose, and legendary names of Tony O'Shea and Glenn Durant. I don't know whether Richard's ready on stage. I'm sure that he will be. Oh, of course, we're going to the interview first. My fault. Sorry. Let's talk to Anastasia. Steve.
The match itself, it seemed to be a very slow start between the pair of you. You settled the quicker. Do you think that was the key to winning that one?
Yeah, probably, because I know Lisa, if I wouldn't play good enough, she would kick in any moment. I just couldn't let it happen. So I was like, come on, just dig. It's like as much as you can.
And the last leg was obviously important, but 3-1-40s on the spin really just set your stamp on it. That must have been pretty satisfying to get that one comfortably through.
Was it? I can't remember now. I was like so much in the zone, but yeah, well, I won, so it's the main thing.
Semi-final now against Lorraine Winstanley. That should be a pretty good game. You looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, because she's a really good mate of mine, and we're always having a good game. And yeah, my best lady win.
Well, that's the attitude, and we wish you all the very best. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, the last thing I'd want to do is deny Anastasia her interview, because it's a delightful one, isn't it? Always a smile on her face. Now then, the game I was talking about before, Tony O'Shea, Glenn Durant, it's an all-English affair, of course. Both of them internationals, both of them big names, and both of them will be giving us, I'm sure, a wonderful, wonderful match. We've got Richard Ashton on stage, so let's now go over to the little man himself to introduce these wonderful players.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to complete our quarter-final lineup in the men's competition of the 2018 BDO World Trophy. We're here at Preston Guildhall, and let's welcome to the stage the reigning Turkish Open champion, 3 times a Lakeside World Championship finalist, the former World Cup singles champion. Hey baby, it's Silverback Tony O'Shea! We now bring to the stage the #1 seed, the former 2-time Winmore World Masters champion, the reigning 2-time Lakeside
Well, as Richard Ashton leaves the stage to these two players and the referee, we've waited since we knew this game was going to take place when Tony O'Shea won and Glenn Durant won in such wonderful style yesterday. And I think it's rather fitting, coincidental really, not planned, that they're playing right at the end of this fourth night here in Preston, because it's going to be such an entertaining match. And I've got to say, Tony's really got to play at his very, very best to live with Glenn, and he knows that. I spoke to him earlier. He played well last night, and he admitted that he went off the boil a bit as the game went on, but the manner in which he started last night was absolutely great. And of course, Glenn Durant then went and started even better, but it could be a cracker, this, Steve. An absolute belter.
Yeah, it has a main event feel to it, doesn't it? With the fact it's the end of the night. Two of the BDO's biggest names in Does It and the Silverback. And it's Tony O'Shea who has the darts. And it's an inauspicious start in the one and then the treble. And the first Tony O'Shea snarl greets us, but he does recover well with a 60.
Yes, Durant's first 5 winning legs in a 6-2 victory over David Edwards. 15-13.
140.
14 and 14. And he ended in the end with an average of 98. I think his last leg was a lot longer than the one he lost. It was a really lengthy leg, but he really is a top quality performer. Sets himself extremely high standards, and more often than not lives up to them.
It was interesting speaking to him yesterday as well, John. He's really set his sights on this tournament. Of course, every player comes into the tournament wanting to win it.
66.
But this has a little bit more on it for Glenn. This is a competition he's never won, and being the sort of competitor he is, he's a bit of a hoarder when it comes to trophies. He really wants this.
And there's a massive difference between coming to a tournament
131
believing you can win it and coming to a tournament believing you are entitled to it. Because he's a lovely guy, he's very modest, but he knows, he's quietly confident of the fact that there isn't a better player within the BDO, and not many better players, if I may put it this way, elsewhere.
72.
That one goes inside. Little lax on the 18s there, Glenn. It's only on 171, and this is what we mean. This is how well he'll have to play.
When you require 18.
Perfectly acceptable in most games to have left 71 after 15. Glenn's already had 2 darts at a double, now 3. He's 4th for double 4.
Game shot in the first leg.
Yeah, 15 darts, and
second leg, Glenn to throw first. Game on.
Glenn throwing first now, so could have been. Excuse me, please. Well, could have been several darts fewer, couldn't it? And
96.
But not to be sneezed at. That 15, is it?
No, absolutely not. And he's having a bit of trouble
66.
veering into the ones early on there. He's recovered both instances he's done that. Pretty well with his final dart. Glenn will go instantly down after seeing that first one. Blocked the bed.
96.
Yeah, as I mentioned, he's never won this World Trophy. In fact, the best he's ever had is the quarterfinals. 2015, 2017.
60.
And he mentioned earlier on, it might have even been in our interview yesterday, he sets his sights on something. He does expect to win it. Did it with the Isle of Man Open this year. It was an event he'd never won. So he went over there specifically to add it to his collection.
Yeah, he's ambitious. He's hungry.
59.
He knows he's got the ability, but he also knows that you never give him any title. You have to work, you have to earn it. He's prepared to work hard. And he's
140.
Just spend the hours on the practice board and maintain the very high standards that he sets for himself. It looks as though he's ready to go 2 up. It's a second attempt at the 13 darter. He eventually went out in 15 in the first leg, but this could be a 13 darter. Well, double 8 for a 14 dart leg. And now double 4, which I think is what he got last leg, isn't it? For another 15 dart leg. So 2 15 darters, he's averaging 100.2.
Throw first. Game on.
Simply by virtue of having struck
81.
2 legs with 30 darts.
Yeah, it's almost weird symmetry between both of those 2 legs, ending on the same double, ending up with the same number of darts.
100.
We're having similar trouble on his doubles. If he'd have taken them out 1 dart, then average would be really special.
60.
Yes, it'd been around about 113. 107 point something for a 14 darter, 113 I think for a 13 dart, 12 darter of course is a quarter of 501, which is 125.25 rather, 125.25.
60.
You got it right at the start, John. Tony has to play somewhere near his best, if not his best, to even have a chance in this one, such as the level of Glenn Durant. He's not quite got there yet. He's not playing badly. In fact, this level would be
58.
Probably enough to keep him in
When you require
contention
164.
with plenty of other players at this stage of this tournament that we've seen so far. Champion is that step up.
I think 45. Glenn would acknowledge that he is not a naturally gifted player who can just go up there and release the dart with the casualness that we see
60.
from others.
When you require 119.
And he is genuinely one who works at his game, even in this at this stance and the time he takes. All that is part of his methodical way of going about things. And my, as he looks here. A double top, 119, another 15 darter, that's 3 consecutive 15 dart legs, another break of throw, and yeah, it's one-way traffic, isn't it?
$99.
Glenn does win this. He'll head into a match with Labanauskas, who he has played in the World Trophy before and was beaten in the World Trophy before.
Yes, that I think I'm right in saying that was at the Lakeside 2 years ago, and Labanauskas reached the semi-final, didn't he? And
averaged 102.
Yeah, and played very, very well. But I don't think Labanauskas has the game on the evidence of what I've seen in his 2 matches. This time to create a similar sort of shot. That, by the way, is not a prediction. It's
139.
If you like, a supposition. Left himself on a bogey, but I don't think it really matters. Durant quite happy to come down steadily and maybe set up another 15 darter. 3 on the trot so far.
What I thought was interesting was
132.
when Glenn was in the green room ahead of playing in this one, just walked in there with him as Tony looks to fire in a 180, brilliant. And he didn't even hesitate. He knew he was leaving himself on a bit of a bogey, but he just wanted to get that in, I think.
Well, a 2 dart finish, isn't it? But yeah, he knows he probably won't get a shook at it. Double 9 for a 14 darter. And he's not going to do a 15 darter here. And now O'Shea can win the leg. And against the throw as well, he can do his own 14 dart leg. Double 8. Fraction in, Tony. Well done, lad. Well done. And an excellent 180. on the penultimate visit to set it up. And ever the entertainer, he was quite prepared. In those circumstances, players would normally go down for treble 19, and he'd have required 24 instead of 21. But yeah, now he can't believe it. He's not very far away from where those three were a few moments ago, but he doesn't score anything like as many.
Cruel game, isn't it?
See, Durant's average just dropped slightly below the 100.2 that 15 darters give you. And Tony O'Shea, despite that 180, under 77.
100.
I feel for Tony though, it won't necessarily matter whereabouts his average is. He's just got to take legs that he can win, like the last one. He can pull out a big score. Just all about
60.
the timing of his shots, rather than the metronomic consistency of 140 after 140 that you know you're going to get with Glenn. Just has to take his chances. Could be doing it here.
140.
So he's 83 ahead, O'Shea. Suddenly, Durant realises that there is an opponent there. He's largely had it all his own way. But an excellent 140 from him. Tony, the very, very keen Stockport County football fan.
When you require 161.
He's like so many of that wonderful football club's followers, as loyal can be, as they've dropped through the divisions of the Football League into the National League
60.
and then beneath into
Tony, you
the
require
National
133.
League North, and he's still, like so many others, sticks with them. Looking here at 133. That's
101.
a great last dart. Well,
you require
great
101.
credit. You can't speak more highly about that dart than I just have. Now double 16, which will hurt. And that's what you're up against, Steve. O'Shea picks off nicely there, brilliantly to leave 32. And Durant takes that out. He's 4-1 ahead, throwing absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, he is, and that will be a bit of a sickener for Tony O'Shea, because he was lying in wait beautifully on double 16 himself. But Glenn Durant, every single leg in this game, 4-1, has taken 15 darts to complete. That's the sort of standard we're talking about here.
Yes, and he had a chance to win the fourth leg, but Tony O'Shea stepped in and showed what he's made of by taking it. Tony's check out of 21 there after a 180, and Glenn that 119, a beautiful flourish, a beautiful finish, and that's what Durant is all about. So after the break, we'll see more of this excellent game. Well, there's the stage, there's the referee, all we need are the players, and there's the great Glenn Durant, almost 100 average here, giving us a wonderful game, 4-1 up, and each of those 4 legs in 15 darts exactly. Could have been fewer than that, in actual fact. He has missed darts at a double, but they haven't cost him. He's won every leg where he's been first to the double, even if it's taken more than 1 dart to hit it. Tony O'Shea's had one wonderful leg. He hit his only 180, and I think he thought he might have a shot at double 16 in that leg before the break, and Glenn took out 119, so there we are. It's the way the cookie crumbles when you're playing Glenn Durant, does it?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. 6th set, 6th leg.
Very good player.
Game on.
And he's got the darts straight out of the break as well. 4-1 up. 2 from home. One does wonder how much
95.
longer we'll be out here on the stage. Tony O'Shea will be determined to enjoy every moment of it. Sure of that.
99.
Well, in 10 legs of darts he's played so far here in Preston, he's had 5 15 darters, 2 14 darters, a 13 darter and a 10 darter.
I mean, make no bones about it, Don, that is as good as you're going to get anywhere.
He lost 2 legs against David Edwards. He's lost 1 leg here.
30.
So he is vulnerable.
I'd go with he's human. Wouldn't necessarily use vulnerable. Here he is again. First 180 this would be for Glenn. Fires it in.
180!
I think it maybe says a little bit about this match, the fact that he's checked out 15 darters every time, yet to hit a maximum until now.
95.
Yes, and according to my records, he didn't hit one in that game against Edwards. So, treble 10 would have left double 18. Now that's 8 left.
118.
Whether he deliberately went for the treble 16, I don't know, because single 16 would have left him tops.
He has hit double 4
60.
twice already.
Glenn, you require 8.
In each of the first 2 legs. You make it a green hat trick. Of course he can.
Shot and
5-1.
the 6th leg.
And one has to assume that he really did go for that treble 16. Roland Shorten is the player who I remember most on 56 deliberately goes for the treble 16 to lead
100.
8. Durant there did a 13 darter. So he's now had 2 13 darters in 11 legs and 5 15 darters and so on. It's
125.
he's a phenomenon, there's no doubt about it, and if he qualifies again
45
for the Grand Slam of darts, a lot of people will be very interested in how he goes on.
Yeah, me included. It's fascinating. It's always such a fascinating competition, the Grand Slam.
97.
Winner of this.
I think as world champion, BDO world champion, he already has done.
Yes.
Qualified, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and the champion of this tournament, whether it be potentially Glenn Durant or any of our other quarter-finalists already qualified, will get a shot at the Grand Slam. And I know it's an event that's really popular with all the players as well.
Yes, it is.
97.
Not just the fans, who can use it as a form of tribalism, rivalry, whatever you like. It's always popular to have that sort of style, but I think it's popular with the players as
123.
Nice 1 2 3 for Tony O'Shea. 7 ahead, but against the throw, Durant about to go ahead himself. Yes, 62 left.
130.
And that means he wants 52 and 12 darts thrown. So possibly another 14 or 15 darter awaiting.
95.
And Tony
require 52.
hanging on in there by his fingernails in this leg. Double 16 for a 14 dart leg. This is an exhibition by Glenn Durant. and a wonderful victory, it has to be said. That is 4 15 darters. He came back from the break, 13 and 14 dart legs, and it was so clinical. I have to be reminded that that was actually the winning dart, and I unashamedly admit that. An average of 103, as near as makes no difference, and Tony way back, more than 20 behind, and not really in with a shout, giving him a shout. But we've seen an exhibition again, Steve.
Yeah, we really have, and you take a look at the 9 dart average there, 116. It's nigh on impossible for any player to live with that. Don't care if you're the BDO or wherever, that is top darts. And we'll hear from the man himself, Glenn Durant, and he'll be waiting to speak to us after this.
So it's welcome back here, and the completion of today's work. 6 games this evening to follow 6 this afternoon. Wonderful entertainment, and particularly in that last game from the wonderful player Glenn Durant, an average of 99.88 in the end. Still not the best this week. We have the certain Scotsman, Ross Montgomery, who has an average of over 102. But wins there for Anastasia Dobromyslova and Glenn Durant towards the end of the evening of great quality play. Well, I reckon Glenn Durant needs to be spoken to, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. So, Stephen Jameson, I know that you're there with him right now.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. Glenn, congratulations on the win. Really good performance for yourself tonight. Were you happy with that?
Just something I didn't do is Paul James. Sorry, I didn't do it on time there, but that one's for you, buddy. Delighted. I mean, Tony O'Shea. Someone sent me a message on Facebook saying, "Don't treat him as a friend," because there's a real story between me and Tony where he come to do an exhibition. He said, "Glenn, you should be doing the circuit." I did. And then from there, it was like, I owe an awful lot to Tony. I'm a huge fan of his, and I'm delighted to get through that.
In terms of the performance itself, not a single leg under 15 darts, which is always going to give you a very, very good chance to win pretty much every leg. Do you feel like you're in very good form at the moment?
I was incredibly disappointed as number 1 seed. I wasn't sort of starting the night. You know, you give me 10 o'clock in the morning before 10 o'clock at night, and I'm happy. So to be waiting late on there was, when I was looking, I was thinking, as number 1 seed, I should be starting Wednesday. So I wasn't sure where my form was. I've been doing a lot of exhibitions rather than competition play. But there's just something about me when I get on a stage, all of a sudden I can kick in there, because practice behind stage hasn't been perfect by a long stretch. But when I get on that stage, something inside me kicks in.
And in terms of this competition, it's one that I know you've had your sights on. It's the furthest actually now that you've ever gone in the World Trophy to the semi-final stage. You're playing Darius Labanauskas, a player you've met at this competition before. What are you expecting from that one?
Well, I love playing PDC players, so I look forward to playing Darius.
And in terms of your approach to that game, anything changed whatsoever, or are you happy in yourself that you've got what it takes to keep on this form?
I'm in a really good place. I'm just enjoying. If I said I was enjoying it, was probably an exaggeration, because I haven't won this tournament. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on myself this week, because I want to win this one. But I've been determined ever since I won Lakeside, when I won the World Masters. Don't be disappointed when you lose, Glenn. But this one is the only one that's not on the resume. So, I'd be delighted if tomorrow was a good day for me.
Well, it's been a pleasure to watch you. Best luck tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, indeed. It really does mean a lot to Glenn Durant, and yes, he referred to Labanauskas and PDC. But we'll leave that one aside for the time being, I think. There we go. It's a great day come to an end. We knew it would be, and the afternoon games seemed quite a long time ago. But the evening games have given us some wonderful entertainment. And congratulations to all the winners, commiserations to all the losers. We now have said goodbye to the second round in both competitions. And in the ladies' event, of course, we're at the semi-final stage. And at the men's event, it is indeed the quarterfinals first tomorrow, before in the evening they have their own semi-finals and final, of course. There we have it. What a day is going to be tomorrow. Ross Montgomery in the men's quarterfinal, opening things up against Kyle McKinstry. That'll be a game. They'll all be games. There's no weakness there now. There's every player in that 8 is capable of putting darts together and winning it. Peter Machin did last year, Steve. So, can he do it again?
He's going to have a really tough test against Mikhail Unterbuchner, we'll say that much. He had a fantastic win against Mark McGeaney earlier, and he's playing really well. Not just in this tournament, but this year in general. He's really... I think he's trying to fly under the radar, but I don't think it's going to happen for much longer. He's playing really, really well. Jim Williams, Scott Baker could be an absolute cracker as well. Jim Williams seems to be warming up in this competition, and Scott Baker's been pretty fantastic throughout. And the final game, a rematch of 2 years ago.
And the thing that impresses me as much as anything about that lineup, of the 8 players, we have 7 different nationalities. The only duplication, Scott Baker and Glenn Durant, both English, all the others from different darting nations, and I think it's a true world event.
Yeah, that's always one of my favourite things as well, when you can say a world trophy is a bona fide world trophy, as you mentioned, 7 nations. Great to see.
So there we are. We got the women's to come forward to. As I say, they're at the semi-final stage now, and there we are. Ros Bulmer, who has had to go out shopping today because she didn't expect to be staying in Preston quite so long, buy some new socks, and she even said new knickers.
She said that. I want to be really clear. She said lovely, that, not us.
Yeah, she's a lovely personality. She comes from East Anglia, and she's a pretty good dart player as well, obviously, to reach. She's playing against a 23-year-old who's already well known within the game, Fallon Sherrick, and she came from 3-0 down to win 4-3 there. You can see that the second game this afternoon against Maria O'Brien. And we've also witnessed Anastasia Dobromyslova put together a fantastic performance to beat Lisa Ashton, and therefore to meet the number 1 seed Lorraine Winstanley. So whether you're watching the men's or the women's, well, you're watching them all. You're going to see some tremendous darts tomorrow, and so there's going to be some great entertainment.
Yeah, there really will be. This is the afternoon schedule we have for you tomorrow. Back on Free Sports, don't forget. Ross Montgomery, Carl McKinstry will kick us off. Ros Bulmer, Fallon Sherrick is the first semi-final for the women, and we'll then follow it with Lorraine Winstanley and Anastasia Dobromyslova, following Peter Machin, Mikael Unterbuchner, and the final 2 men's quarterfinals round off the afternoon schedule. In the evening, of course, we don't know the fixtures. It's the semis for the men and the final for the women.
6 of the names will go through, and 6 of the names won't, and that's as simple as that for the men's quarterfinal, men's semi-final, and the women's final. We'll see. But all I can say is, though all those games, folks, they all promise to offer us great entertainment, and that's what this great game is all about in the end.
It certainly is. Me and John have really enjoyed your company tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to welcoming you back tomorrow on Free Sports from 12. That is when Ross Montgomery will tee off against Kyle McKinstry to open up proceedings on the final day of the BDO Darts World Trophy. We've really enjoyed your company this evening. We look forward to joining you tomorrow. But from me and John and the rest of the crew here in Preston, very good night.